So, I know what everyone must be wondering. Hey Lou, why are you an Elder God? Isn't Raiden supposed to be in that role? Well, there's a funny story to that. We begin our story in another timeline. Something about a Pyramid of Argus? Blaze? I never got the full details of what happened back then, but all you need to know is somehow Raiden. Due to the extreme length of Liu Kang's recap, we decided to cut him off here to get to the proper review. Also, go pre-order MK1. Seriously, it's the best game we've made up to this point. Hey! I could get the recap done! It's only 30 pages long! I could just freeze time for the viewer to do my recap and... Mortal Kombat! Do 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 fight! Okay, hi everyone, it's me, AJ, and you're my Adventure Ventures. Originally had something else in mind for today's episode, but then a certain video game was announced a few days ago, and I have to switch my schedule to do, well, this. Today, we're looking at the first game I'll review on this channel. Today, we're looking at Mortal Kombat 11. Yes, 11. Because apparently, the next game is not Mortal Kombat 12. No, it's Mortal Kombat 1. Why 1? Because symbolism, it's the start of a new era. But let's step back, actually a few steps back, and look at the game prior to the newly announced one. Now, as a disclaimer, I tend to be a casual player. I'm not exactly an expert when it comes to combos, frame rates. I'm not that kind of person. So whatever I say in the gameplay section is something that I feel about it. This is not me having a yes or no answer to the game. Also, for the story, just like with my movie reviews, I will not be spoiling everything. I'll just give everyone a general look, and I'll just let people decide what they think if they either play the game or see the clips online. That said, let's dive into the bloodshed. Test your reflexes. The controls for MK11 are pretty good. They're not as responsive as MKX, but they are still workable compared to certain other games. The graphics are pretty good. I enjoyed how they look, how the characters move, and the animation are pretty cool. And self-fatalities actually benefit from the graphics you see in the game. As for the roster, it's actually a pretty great one for launch. You have a mix of old, new, and featuring basically all the original MK characters. This is because, as I said before, MK11 was meant to be the end of an era for the NRS studios about this generation of MK games, which spawns from Mortal Kombat 2011, Mortal Kombat X, and now Mortal Kombat 11. The DLC roster also adds a lot of cool characters as well. For example, you have Melina, Shiva, Fujin, Nightwolf, and Shang Tsung come back for this game, and it made a lot of fans happy. And I hope that MK1 continues to have a great rosters, but I'll get to that later. Speaking of the roster, there is the character customization that we have to talk about, since it also plays a major part of the gameplay. Compared to Injustice 2, which was the first to use such a customization system, there are 3 major slots for the gear, 3 slots as usual for the abilities, and 2 new ones, which you can see on the screen. The first is for customizing the introduction for your character. The second is for doing the outro. Well, the outro you don't finish off your opponent. Some of these options are pretty cool, and the intro ones can be really cool, especially for characters like Geras, Aaron Black, and a few others. Oh, and Scorpion too. But I will have to mention this. Because of the lack of 2 slots, this means that certain gears will actually repeat themselves this time. And because there's actually a set number of gears, you just have to play through the game and hope you get some new gear and not just a repeat. I think, but who cares? What really ticks me off is, despite how many colors there are, and there are usually like 4 to 5 costumes per character, there are some costumes that are locked only in the Combat League, as in, you have to reach the top of every season in MK11 to get them. it really damages the customization for each character and kind of takes away some options for making characters look really cool online. That said, I will have to admit that when I played the game, it was fun customizing our characters, and the fact that you can name each variant and give them different symbols made it a lot of fun deciding what to use online or offline. I have to say that customization is both a good thing and a bad thing for trying to make your character look really unique. But there's enough variation where you won't meet the same exact scorpion each match and for each character online and in the game. So there is that, and I don't think there's anything else to. Okay, before we move forward, we have to talk about this. When the last DLC of MK11 launched, that being MK11 Aftermath, we got Shiva, and while she was a fan favorite, what she came with was an overpowered stomp. A stomp move so powerful, it ruled the meta for an entire year. It only took up until an internet tournament when some person used "Why did NRS do this for us?" name of the variant of Shiva being used, that she was finally nerfed. Yeah, it was so bad that apparently the Stomp Lord was something. Alright, gang, it's combat time! I will never let Johnny Cage write another catchphrase. When talking about MK11's story, there's one thing you have to keep in mind. This story is essentially a time travel plot. Essentially, to keep a really long story short, the new villain Chronica is using her hourglass to combine the past and present together. Why? Because she needs to get. Okay, that's going to spoil hers, but basically, she wants to reset the MK universe to create a new era that benefits her worldview. This leads into a lot of interaction between the characters from 25 years ago and the present selves. Sure, there is stuff like past Sonya meeting the Cassie Cage and their interaction. Kano, both versions of Kano and Johnny Cage get a lot of interesting interactions, and especially funny ones. And we get yet another dreaded thing about these stories. The NRS syndrome of story-only characters. Yep, it happened again. Unlike with MKX, where we had Rain and Tanya, in MK11, it's frickin' Sector. One of MK's most famous characters and someone that the fans really want to play in the games. But nope, he's locked in story mode as an NPC-only character, which sucks. But that said, I still found the story engaging. A lot of the cutscenes were fun. What else? I already mentioned interactions. Hold on. Well, okay, yeah. The cutscenes were fluid, dynamic. They don't really go on for too long, and if they do, it's usually for an exciting fight. And I have to say that a lot of the battles allowed in the story mode is really cool. That and a really cool final boss battle that's very different from the Chronica fought at the end of the arcade mode. That said, it wouldn't be an NRS game without its story mode having flaws. In this case, just like in any other NRS game, the story may have a few holes. An interesting case of character derailment, which I will not give away because that usually happens in Aftermath, and that's an entirely different beast altogether. And I think there is some stuff that could have been fixed or ended up being wasted opportunities, like present Raiden meeting his past self, or say Johnny Cage getting the hand of a Cassie Cage. That said, I still enjoyed this fight for what it is. It was fun, and I really enjoyed going through it the first time I played MK11. Whoosh! Alright, before I cut to the next section, here's an update to the review. On May 24th, the PlayStation Showcase happened, and I was watching it hoping for new MK1 information. I was going to put this information to the next segment talking about the franchise's future, but we got nothing revealed. So by the time this video is up, nothing has come out about MK1's gameplay, roster, or more of the story. With that said, let's hop into the next segment. It's time to wake up. Welcome to the new era. Okay, quick segment. But when I'm recording this segment, this is me recording my thoughts for the initial reveal trailer for MK1. For me, it was a beautiful trailer, showing not just a beautiful, brand new era, but some of the best visuals a fighting game could ask for. It sets up an amazing story and a brand new world I cannot wait to see. Now, I do have questions like where is Johnny Cage, Sonya Blade, Jax, and the other Earthrealm characters, since Aftermath is following Liu Kang's ending for this timeline. I'm curious about characters like Taven, Onaga, and Shao Kahn, since Liu Kang wants a peaceful world. But that's for the future. I cannot wait to see what will happen next, especially when we get to learn more about this new game. And I am really, really curious how the gore is going to be handled as well. That and, well, Liu Kang being the new Guardian of Earthrealm. I just hope that we get an amazing storyline, great gameplay, really good customization this time around, and hopefully a great DLC cast. Please, NetherRealm, please bring back Reptile, Cyrac, Sector, and Ermac. We need them so freaking much. Mortal Kombat 11 gets a B+. Now keep in mind, again, this is me talking about my experiences with the game. The game has great gameplay and is easy to get into. It is fun for a few matches, and on paper, the gameplay is not that bad. But it gets a little complicated and messy when trying to play online, and yes, the story could get some work. Well, all of NRS's stories could get some work, especially when it comes to actually making them work. But with that said, it is still fun to mess around with. The new character is fun, and also keeps what keeps this game up compared to the flaws. Plus, well, that's all I gotta say. Beyond the fact that the customization is pretty good, and being able to customize your intros, outros, and even put in or remove special moves is pretty cool. So with that said, that's all for my first video game review on this channel. You've been watching Ace's Adventure Ventures. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you all next time.